Hi, Faye Hollins here from Outshine Consulting, and thanks once again for joining me. What I'm going to talk about today is how to avoid being a to-do list hoarder. Now, have you ever seen one of those programs that are about people who hoard things in their homes? You know, every room looks like a bomb's gone off, there's chaos everywhere, and they hold on to practically everything and really seem incapable of throwing things away. Now, whilst those scenarios might seem extreme, very similar behaviour is going on in practically every office around us today. And what I'm referring to is to-do list hoarders. So those are those people that hang on to things on their to-do list from weeks and months on end and transfer items from one list to another almost on a daily basis, really in a desperate bid to hope that one day they'll be able to cross them off. And I'm sure as I'm saying this, many of you are nodding your heads and going, well, you know what, I think I do that. We've all been guilty of it at some point or another, but the risk you run if you do it all the time is that you are really turning yourself into a to-do list hoarder, and it's not the most productive behaviour you can really engage yourself in. So how can you move away from the rubbish? Well, firstly, take a look at your to-do list. Have a look at it now and see how many items have been sitting on there for, maybe more than a week, a month, and maybe even more than a year. I hope that most of you aren't falling into that last category. And then think about how many times you transferred that same item from one to-do list to another, from one notepad to another, or from one online diary to another. And how much stuff on that list is now well past its due date. You know, it might be relevant or it's purely there to help you sort of remember things rather than being, very important items that you need to action. Now think about the hoarders out there that are hoarding rubbish in their homes and consider whether you think you're really any different. It's very similar behaviour. So, in order to manage your time smartly and be as productive as possible, it's really important to stay focused on the key tasks that help you contribute or help contribute to your key goals and objectives. Now, the problem with hoarding things on your to-do list is that the other stuff that isn't important can really distract you from doing the tasks that do actually help you reach your goals and objectives. So just like a regular hoarder would struggle to find things in their home in amongst all the junk they've collected, the same goes for your to-do list. It can be really hard for your mind to focus on what's important if every time you look at your to-do list there's a heap of things on there that are grappling for your attention, despite the priorities of those things being completely different. So what can you do to start spring cleaning your to-do list and improving your focus and productivity? Well, there are 3 really easy things that you can do to get yourself off to a great start. The first one, just like a regular hoarder, is to chuck out the old. Get a fresh piece of paper or a fresh notepad and only transfer the items on your current to-do list that directly contribute to your key goals and objectives. Now, if you don't know what your key goals and objectives are, this is the point where you need to stop and work out what they are, because you can never manage your time and productivity as efficiently as possible if you don't know what you're aiming to achieve. So firstly, you've got to know what your goals and objectives or your KPIs are, and then chuck out anything on your to-do list that isn't directly related to those tasks, to those goals and objectives. This is where you need to be ruthless. If stuff has been sitting on your to-do list for months and weeks and years on end, it's probably irrelevant now and you can get away without doing it. So get rid of it and then focus purely on the things that are important. The next one is be selective with the things you write on your to-do list. If you truly want to use your time smartly, you've got to stop using your to-do list as a sort of a general memory bank so that a safety net so that you don't forget things. And instead use it as an action planner that helps you identify the key tasks that you need to be doing on a daily basis that help you get closer to your actual goals. So it's really important you change the way you use your to-do list, especially if you are using it as a memory bank, because it will take away your focus and attention from the things that are actually important. And then finally, assign deadlines to each of those tasks on your to-do list. So write a deadline down against every item on that list and then schedule time in your diary to actually do that task. And when I say schedule time in your diary, I mean physically write it in your diary or put it online, whatever kind of diary you use, but block out that time at a day and a time when you're actually going to get that task done. And it doesn't matter how big or small that task actually is. You need to allocate the time, schedule it in your diary, and then commit to doing that task as if it was meeting with a really important client or your boss, for example. what that does is that you're much more likely to actually get that task done, because psychologically you've committed in your mind to a specific time you're going to action it. Now, letting go of your old to-do list and your old habits can be tricky because you've been holding on to them for a very long time, but it's just like a comfort blanket or dummy, frankly, and just like hoarders who have been holding on to their junk, there comes a time in everyone's lives where they've got to let go and move on and have a bit of a reality check so that they can move forward. So make today the day that you get rid of all of that old rubbish on your to-do list, have a really good spring clean, and then put those 3 steps in place that I've outlined to help you be more focused and productive in the work that you do every day. You can visit my blog and just have a look at how to avoid being a to-do list hoarder and read the tips online. And please do post some comments on the blog and let me know your thoughts and your problems and how I can help you. But until the next time, thanks so much for listening and have a great productive day. Bye-bye.